Hi, my name is Rachel and you're watching the Autistic channel. Do you have autistic loved ones? Do you have autistic friends? Did you just find out that someone close to you is autistic? Are you unsure of how to act around them? Well, if you've answered yes to any of those questions, then you're in the right place. I'm here to talk to you about how to treat autistic people. And by treat, I don't mean treat as in like a cure, because we don't do that here. I mean treat as in how to interact with autistic people. So if you want to learn some tips on how to interact with autistic people, then stick around because you're about to find out. So before I dive into this video, I'm going to give a disclaimer. I do not speak for every single autistic person that is on this planet. What I'm going to share is things that I believe the majority of the autistic community would like, and also things that I would like, and I think other autistic people would like. But you should always ask the autistic people in your life what they would like, because I might say something that they don't agree with, or they might say something that I don't agree with. And so it's just best to ask them what they would like for themselves, because every autistic person is not the same and we do not all want the same things. Yeah. So now that we have that out of the way, let's get into it. So my first thing is to refer to us as autistic people and not person with autism. When you say person with autism, you're using person first language. And now I know that some people, I guess a lot of like medical professionals or like in textbooks and stuff, they tell you to use person first language because it's important to recognize the person before their condition or whatever. And that makes sense for like an actual disease. For an example, like if somebody has cancer, you wouldn't say, oh, this person is cancer or this person is canceric or something. I don't know. You would say this person has cancer because who they are is separate from the cancer that's in their body. It's not the same. Their cancer, it doesn't make them who they are, right? But with autism, it's different because autism is not a disease. So people are born autistic, and so they're autistic their entire life, from the day they're born until the day that they die. They're autistic. So autism is a part of who they are. You can't separate the person from the autism because the autism is a part of the person, if that makes sense. The best way that I can explain it is like, if I weren't autistic, I wouldn't be the same person. Like, I wouldn't be me without autism. So that is why most autistic people prefer to say like autistic instead of a person with autism, because being autistic is a part of who we are. So it doesn't really make sense to us to say person with autism because we can't separate the two. But of course, you should always check with the autistic person in your life to see if that's actually what they want to be called. Don't just take my word for it. Because not everybody is the same and not everyone wants to be called the same thing. And so it's always best to check with them to see what they want to be called. So the main point of this first thing is to just refer to us how we want to be referred to. So whatever that may be, whether it's autistic or person with autism, or if that's what they want. Or some people even like to refer to themselves as like Autie. I don't know. I've seen it in writing. I've never actually said it out loud, so it's weird for me to say, but Autie is what I've seen before also. So really, it's just best to ask what they want and respect their wishes. So the second thing is to treat us like the age that we are. So I say this because autistic people tend to get infantilized a lot, or which means treated like children or treated like they are younger than what they actually are. And this happens a lot to autistic adults and young adults, especially. I guess some of the reasons why people might treat us like we're younger is because some people think that our mental age is younger than our actual age, which I don't really understand that. But yeah, some people do that. And they'll say something like, oh, this is my child, they're autistic, they're 12 years old, but their mental age is like 5 or something. And then they'll go on to treat them like a 5-year-old, even though they're 12 years old, which doesn't make sense to me. Because if they're 12, you should treat them like you're 12, right? But, anyways, another reason why people might infantilize autistic people is because sometimes our interests can be considered like childlike. Sometimes we're interested in things that are targeted towards children, but just because we're interested in something that is targeted towards children doesn't mean that we are children. It just means that we like that thing, but it doesn't make us a child. It doesn't make us any less adult or however old that they are. It's just something that they like. So yeah, it's just like if I don't know, like a 15-year-old is into knitting, that doesn't make them old. It still makes them 15. So if a 20-year-old is into teddy bears, that doesn't make them a child. So if you meet a 5-year-old autistic child, treat them like a 5-year-old child because they are a 5-year-old child. If you meet a 12-year-old autistic tween, then treat them like a 12-year-old tween because they are a 12-year-old tween. If you meet a 21-year-old autistic young adult, then treat them like a 21-year-old young adult because they are a 21-year-old young adult. And I think that you get my point, so I'm not going to keep on going with different ages. But yeah, just treat us like the age that we are. So my third thing is to not tease or make fun of our special interests. Special interests are very important to autistic people because they bring a lot of joy into our lives. And I've made a video all about special interests, so yeah, I will link it up. Yeah, I will link it up here so that you can check it out if you want to. But yeah, I really talk a lot more about special interests. But the main point that you need to know right now is that special interests bring a lot of joy to the lives of autistic people, and they're really important to us. And so if you think that something that we're interested in is weird or silly or childish, like, don't tell us that. Keep it to yourself because we don't need to know. I don't need to know. When people make fun of the things that we're interested in, it can be really damaging to like our self-esteem and the way that we think about ourselves. And that can cause a lot more problems. And really, you shouldn't be making fun of like anyone's interests like ever. So just don't do it. If you don't have anything nice to say, keep it to yourself. That's what they always say, right? My fourth thing is don't tell everybody that you meet that we're autistic. So another way of saying that is to let us tell people we're autistic when we want and how we want. Even though the autistic person in your life might be really proud of being autistic, you should still let them tell people that they are if they want to, because it's their life. Like, they're the ones who are autistic, so they're the ones who should share that information if they want to, and if they don't, then that's their choice and you should respect their choice. And another thing adding on to this is don't tell people like we're autistic if it's not relevant to the situation. I'll give you an example. I saw this TikTok where someone was making lunch for their son, and they're like, making lunch for my autistic son. And I'm like, how is this relevant to the video? I don't like, I we don't see your son. All we see is you putting the food into their lunch bag. And I'm like, why is it relevant that he's autistic? Like, how is this adding to the video at all? There's no need to just go around telling people that, someone is autistic if it's not relevant at all to what you're talking about. So, yeah, just don't do that. I don't know what else to say. Just don't do that. Okay. So, my fifth thing is to let us stim and let us use stim toys or fidget toys or whatever you want to call them. If you see an autistic person stimming, don't try to stop them from doing that unless it's harmful to themselves or to another person. But if they're not hurting anybody, then just let them be. If you want to try, if they seem really unhappy, if they're stimming because something is making them upset, then if you want to try and help them, try and figure out what it is that's making them upset. Maybe you can ask them. Yeah, you can try and help them with a situation if it's something that's making them upset, like if it's like an environmental thing, maybe something's too loud or too bright or something, I don't know, then just you can fix the environment instead of trying to stop them from stimming. But if they're stimming because they're happy about something or they're excited, then just let them be. There's no need to be stopping somebody if they're happy. Just let them be happy, Let us stim. Another thing I wanted to say about stimming is that a stimming is almost always a reaction to something. If the autistic person in your life is stimming and they seem very upset, then it's probably because it's a reaction to something that's making them upset. And so instead of trying to stop them from stimming, maybe try to fix whatever the thing that made them upset. So the next thing is to let us know things ahead of time. So if you have if you made plans or something, or if you want to go out and do something, give us time to process that information or just let us know ahead of time. Because a lot of autistic people have routines or schedules, and they like to know things ahead of time, don't like sudden change. And so it's really important to let us know if things are going to change ahead of time and give us time to process that and to deal with the change. Of course, you can't always anticipate a sudden change. And so if something does happen suddenly that changes your plans or changes what you're going to do as an autistic person, then, obviously still let them know, but try to help them deal with it also so that everybody can feel good about it and get on with whatever it is you're doing. The next one is to be mindful of our sensitivities. So lots of autistic people have sensory issues or are hypersensitive to things. And so obviously you should find out what the sensitivities are, if there are any, of the autistic person in your life. And then just, be mindful of that. So if they are hypersensitive to fragrance, don't wear heavy perfume or cologne when you're around them. Or if they are hypersensitive to sound, don't bring them to super loud places. Or if you want to go somewhere with them that will be kind of loud, then let them know in advance, which relates to the last one. But yeah, so that maybe they can bring some noise canceling headphones or wear earplugs or something so that they can enjoy their time with you. My next one is to don't expect us to be normal. And by that, I mean don't expect us to be like neurotypicals. Don't expect us to reach all of the same like milestones or goals or do all the same things that neurotypical people our age are doing. Obviously, some autistic people are able to hit all the same milestones that neurotypical people do at the same time they do, but others can't, or others can do some but not others. And it really varies from person to person. And so just don't expect us to be like the norm, because we're not the norm. Just let us do things on our own time, at our own pace, and yeah, just let us be ourselves. So apparently, my phone didn't want to finish recording the rest of this video, so I am here to end it off for you guys. So the next thing is to ask us questions if you aren't sure about something. I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but if maybe you hear something online about autism, or maybe you watch this video and there's something that you think might apply to an autistic person in your life, make sure that you ask them if you're not sure, and instead of just trying it without knowing if that's actually what they want or not. It's really important to ask questions because not every autistic person is the same, and so just ask us. And yeah. So the very last thing is to treat us like humans because we are humans. Yeah. As much as some autistic people might like to compare themselves to aliens because of the experience of not fitting in with other people, we're not actually aliens, guys. We're humans. So treat us like humans. Yeah. So that brings us to the end of the video. If you've learned something new, or if you just like the video, then hit the like button so that it can spread to more people. And if you would like to add anything about the subject or just ask a question, then comment it down below. I think I said the last time I recorded this that the comment sections were blowing up on my channel. So you might want to get in on that if you want to say something. And finally, if you just like watching my videos, then please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when I post my next video. And as always, stay Rachalistic, or whatever your name is, istic. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye. Hopefully this doesn't just disappear like the last time.